Okay, guys. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another great episode in store for you guys. We have a wonderful guest, Luminous Raw. Her name is Anastasia. She's a great YouTube channel. I'll link it down below. And a wonderful story. I saw a reel pop up on Instagram about how 8 months ago she had a tumor and she was told the only way to get rid of this was surgery. And she decided to embark on a long juice fast instead. You guys, she is on day 270 today. This is crazy. This is so long. So we're going to find out her results. And I know way back when in the past, she went raw vegan at one point and she experienced a lot of healing, I believe, with some health problems she had too. So we're going to find out her story and she seems absolutely amazing. Anastasia, how's it going? Thanks for coming on.
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me, Gillian.
Yeah, of course. How are you feeling on 270 days of only juice? Some people think you can't survive. So how are you feeling?
I feel better than ever in my life, honestly, and it's getting exponentially better and better day by day. So I go like, can it be that good?
How much juice are you drinking in a day and how long are you going to go?
I drink at least a gallon of juice a day. Sometimes I go up to two, and I don't have the end date for how long I'm gonna go. I just go with my body, what I feel right now in the moment. So that's very important for me.
I think that's important for everybody. I think it's important to listen to yourself. And how are your teeth on this? Some people think that might destroy your teeth during this long on juicing.
I used to think this on my first long-term juice fast. That was kind of the myth I battled. And on this juice fast, I'm finding out that actually the more alkaline juices are, so the more fruits we drink, the better it is for our teeth,
Yeah.
unless we eat cooked food on top of
Hmm.
it, or we eat some toxic food that creates toxicity in our body, and then together with juices, it mixes, and that's when the acid starts destroying teeth.
Yeah. And before we talk about this big, amazing juice fast, you had some experience with cooked food. I think it was 2018 or so. You transitioned from cooked vegan, right? Or cooked food to fully raw food. Like I eat fully raw vegan. And I'm just wondering, what did you notice at that? But then after that, you fell off, right? And then at some point, you developed the tumor, which we'll talk about. But when you initially went raw years ago, I'm wondering what benefits you experienced and what happened at that time.
So yeah, I'll go back a little bit. First, I switched to vegan in 2015 when my son was born. During the labor, I had this amazing spiritual experience when I just felt this amazing oneness with everything and everyone that I decided that I will not eat any more products anymore. So my heart said no, and my body embraced it. And at that time, I had rheumatoid arthritis, which is considered to be incurable disease. And being a new mom, I was afraid that I would not be able to cope with having that disease and having a child because it was a lot. It's basically swollen joints every single day, flares up, a lot of pain, a lot of inflammation, very limited movement. So you can imagine as a mom, it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
So when I went vegan, within a month, my symptoms just disappeared. So I was honestly so surprised that it got me into research on on the importance of diet.
Yeah.
And before that, I already was into health and everything. But that point really changed my perception on what I believed in before, that I needed to eat that. And yet, when I quit it, I felt so much better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at that point, I already didn't have symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. And I also had a lot of multiple chronic diseases that came either together with it or from medications that I used to take. So there was a lot. I used to be on 17 different medications.
Wow.
At that time, I lost my hair at some point because I used to take cancer medications, steroids, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really rough on my body. And in 2018, I was inspired once more to go raw. And it was very unusual to me because it was again this, inspiration. It came from my heart. It was
Mhm.
not the pressure from outside. It was simply the experience of life. I came home from a farmer's market with my son, and I started cooking those beautiful vegetables that I got. And the color just vanished from them. And so I all of a sudden got this download that I should eat for color. I should eat for this beautiful freshness, for this water in the fruits and vegetables. And so it just turned my life around like completely. And yeah, I went raw overnight and I felt great. I felt even better than when I was vegan.
Hmm.
So I got more energy. My body movement improved even more, so I became more flexible. I started getting into cycling, so I got interested back in life, and it was an amazing experience. And then I found out that actually we can also do a juice fasting, so go, if I may say, a level up and
Yeah.
see what happens next.
Yeah.
And I'm a very curious person, and I'm try all the healing techniques, all the natural healing techniques and methods that I come across and see how that feels. And raw vegan really resonated with me, with my body, with my energy. And when I came across juicing, it just changed my life even further. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. And then so after that, so you did develop some health problems after all that because you went off track a bit, right? And went back to the old habits.
Yeah,
And
I
then
did.
you develop, I think you said it's a fibroid tumor, right?
Mhm.
So take us into that. What happened and what led you to this long juice fast? Like what made you want to start this and what exactly happened there?
Yeah, so when I started my previous long juice fast, 4 months juice fast, I was in an environment that was not supportive of
Mm,
my journey, I would say. My son was very supportive, but he was 3 years old. So
yeah.
that was, yeah. And my husband at that time, he was not resonating on the same vibration with the whole juice fast thing. And it just showed me at that time that the relationship I was in was actually toxic, as well as my body was still toxic and detoxifying from all the medications that I used to take before, from all the diseases that I had. The same applied to my relationship, the same applied to probably decisions that I used to make too. And so all the layers on that long 4 month juice fast started peeling off.
Wow.
And the truth that I faced was right there in front of my face, and it was up to me whether I would deny it was the truth and continue going on with that, or I would really listen and trust the universe that everything is aligning in my favor. And so I listened to that, and I decided to leave my husband.
Wow.
Yes. And it was really hard because I was, at that time, we just moved to the new city. I didn't have many friends over there. I had a 3-year-old child. I didn't have family. And it was like, it was in the middle of COVID too. And nobody was showing the apartments or anything like this. But I got this courage from the juice fast that I was on, that I I felt the alignment. I felt the synchronicity, and I felt that it needed to be done. So I listened again and I did it. And
Wow.
the whole, the universe of gifts opened up for me after that point, because I continued being raw after
Yeah.
I finished my juice fast. I had a lot of energy. I was able to improve my living environment because I didn't have any more energy that was toxic around me. So everything started improving very fast in my life.
Wow.
Things that I wanted started coming to me, things that I needed as well. So my dreams that I had at some point in life, I told myself, let's do it. Let's just go ahead and follow my dreams. And everything became easy too. And at that time, I also got back to practicing yoga I think it's important to mention because it goes together. Juice fasting and yoga go together in my journey, and they balance one another. They it's a flow of both.
Mhm.
That's what I reside in right now on the day 270.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
day
yeah,
270, right?
yes,
Oh,
and
wow.
mhm. And so when I left my husband and when life started changing rapidly, at some point I had this really a moment of self-doubt, I
Mhm.
would say, when I asked myself, do I deserve this life? You know, something, this little girl inside of me was scared because life changed. It became different after Just Fast. A
Mhm.
lot of people just fell off my life automatically for the same reason
Wow.
that, you can't carry a toxic relationship when you are healthy. So I felt very healthy, I felt very energetic, and it felt odd, especially when people were scared with COVID and things like that. And it didn't affect me. So I was in this space of being alone in my
Mhm.
journey. And I realized that if I don't kind of socialize with people, if I stay a loner after the juice fast, maybe, I would not enjoy my life as much. And so
Mhm.
there was this moment, this entanglement of different feelings that I didn't understand at that point.
Mhm.
And it was a lot of fear deep inside of me, which I also didn't understand at that point. And I slipped into eating cooked vegan food. So
Yeah.
at some point, I was cooking this nice vegan lasagna for my son, and I was like, oh, let me try a slice.
Yeah.
And it felt, of course, it made me feel, completely different than when you eat raw. I think you can
Yeah,
relate
I
to
can
that.
relate. Yeah.
Yeah, it really, takes away the energy from the body almost immediately. And that's how I felt, at least. And it made me like process this food hard. And, I felt sleepy. I felt like the symptoms of, detoxification. Basically, my body started creating this mucus. And it was really strange. And by that time, I was raw already. I was 3 years raw and I was juicing a
Mhm.
lot. So it was hard on my body, and of course, it was also very subtle. That's what I would like to
Mhm.
say to people, who struggle on this journey, that we need to be really gentle on ourselves. That when we slip back into eating cooked food, whatever it is, we need to stay with ourselves and love ourselves, even in that expression, like, okay, let me try it. And I know that it was necessary for my journey. I really am thankful that I went through this experience, that
Mhm.
I did go back, that I did see the difference for myself
Yeah.
so I can learn it again, the second time you learn better.
True. Or the third or the fourth or the fifth. So then what? So then fast forward a little bit of time and you started to get some health problems, and then that's what led you to this long juice fast?
Yes, and so basically I didn't really like indulge in eating cooked food, and I also didn't eat fast food. I always would cook at home, some simple vegetables. And I noticed this decrease of energy. The first thing that started happening is, I would say I was 80% raw and 20% cooked. So that's how it went. And still, I
Yeah.
noticed this decrease of energy that's totally different. I would say, even in my yoga practice, I felt that I became less flexible, so my body became more stiff again. And even though I didn't really have any symptoms
Mhm.
at that point, I felt different in my body and I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
I I felt that the vibration was different, if you can relate to it, but the level of connection with everything. I always felt the connection. And when you're raw, it just feels like in your body, like there's electricity in a way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped feeling that, and I missed that feeling a lot. And I noticed also my energy became more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that when people have blockages in their energy, in any way, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, that's when disease manifests. So I felt that together with the physical blockages in my intestines, I did feel this energetic and emotional blockages as well. And it became harder for me to practice yoga. And that's when I really dove into the other side of yoga, into spiritual side of yoga. And that led me back to raw and to juice fast. But before it did, I got sick physically, and I do believe several things contributed to that. Again, as I said, mental, emotional, and physical, they all go together, inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
And I started feeling, oh, I also got exposed to mold. So
Mm-hmm.
it was in January 2021, I got super sick. And at that time, I was eating mostly raw. And I was surprised because I didn't know where it came from. I knew that it couldn't really come from my food
Mm-hmm.
because it was still more clean than most of the vegan food. But I started feeling, very weak. My skin became pale. I had difficulties breathing. And after a month, I found out that at the workplace where I was at that time, we had the growth of mold everywhere, and I got
Wow.
infected with mold. So I almost died. I was in bed for 7 days. I
Crazy. Thank God you're okay. Jeez.
Yes, and that experience shook me to the bottom of my heart. It was like, okay, wake up, you gotta go raw again. You really gotta do it completely 100% because look how vulnerable the body becomes when already there is energy not flowing properly. So I healed myself with juicing at that time. I didn't even go to a doctor, I didn't even want to deal with the whole thing of taking, blood work and everything because I already knew what was happening with me, and I already got my detoxification certification by that
Yeah.
time. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna heal myself. But then the next thing that happened is in August, all of a sudden I felt a lot of pain in my lower abdomens, and I thought it was an ovary. I just wanted to know what was going on. I had no idea. And the pain became so strong that I had to go to ER.
Wow.
And it was strange deja vu of, spending a lot of time in the hospitals before. And there I haven't been in the hospital since 2018 or
Yeah.
even before that, 2015. And there was again, all that environment just brought me back to those memories. And they ran ultrasound and turned out that I had a 8 centimeter tumor in my uterus.
Wow.
So it's a size of a large bell pepper, you can say, or a mango.
Pretty big.
So
Like that's
it,
big.
it was big. I actually could see it through my belly. It was actually visible. And I was not surprised, Gillian, though. I was not surprised at all because I already knew, slipping back to eating cooked, being exposed to mold. So there were a lot of toxins already in my body. Plus, I was doing a lot of spiritual work at that time after my divorce. I had to reconcile with everything and sit with myself, with my shadows, with my light, and
Mm-hmm.
embrace the whole thing. And I was also not surprised that it manifested in my uterus because right now I feel like there is this epidemic of women who have problems in their feminine organs, and it's very indicative of, the I would say what's going on in the world, like this oppressive culture and society who really don't let us create fully, and we still are tied to, working for people. And a lot of people, they go and do 9 to 5, they don't have financial freedom. And I saw a lot of this, I traveled a lot. It's not only here in America, it's
Yeah.
a lot of places have it. And so this balance of yin and yang, of this feminine and masculine energies, that's what I started discovering on my further healing journey. And that's why I was not surprised it was in the uterus. So there was a lot to process, you know.
Wow. And then what? So then they suggested you do surgery, right, to remove it, obviously. But
Yes,
you didn't get surgery. You didn't want to have surgery to remove it. You decided to embark on juicing instead.
yes, of course. It was totally surreal to be at the doctor's office and hear her saying that, oh, you look very healthy. I do not know why you have it. And so she went over the options that I had. First, she asked me if I was done with having children because I'm almost 40. So she asked that question, and I said, no, I would love to have more children. So she goes, okay, so we wanted to offer you a hysterectomy, basically taking the whole uterus out, which
Wow.
puts a woman into menopause immediately.
Wow.
It's not a gentle procedure to have. So it definitely their first option for this kind of scenario with uterine fibroids. And then the
Mhm.
second option that they offered me was myomectomy, which is taking out just the fibroid, but they still can't save the whole uterus. They still would need to take a part of it and stitch it and try to put it back together.
Mhm.
And there would be no guarantee that
Wow.
I would have children. So it's a Russian roulette,
Yeah.
and, and I was not willing to play that. So
No.
and moreover, I already knew. So to me, it was really revealing, this experience, that when the doctor said, we don't know the cause for this, I just chuckled slightly in my heart, and I I smiled and I said, okay, thank you so much for all the information you gave me. Also, she told me that before myomectomy, they would have to put me on very strong hormones that
Wow.
would shrink the fibroid and somewhat, so basically a couple of centimeters, couple of inches. But that would also put me in the state of menopause,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
then they would do the surgery. So to me, obviously, those options wouldn't work. And I asked her to get back to her after a couple of months. And so, yeah, I just went home. And at that time, my juicer part was broken, and I was waiting for it to come to my mail for the replacement part. And the morning it came, I said, yes, I'm going to juice fast. And I feel it was a perfect day for that too. It was very foggy outside, very like this London style weather, I would say.
And what kind of juicer
And
did you get? I know people always ask, what kind of juicer did you get?
I had an Omega juicer.
Yeah.
So I've been juicing with Omega since 2019, since I got it on Craigslist, for $75. Somebody used
Wow.
it twice.
Amazing.
It was almost brand new. A lot of
Yeah.
people ask me now also, where do you get your juicer? And sometimes I tell people who don't have enough money, go and find it on Facebook and get the used one. Get
That's
the
what I used to
machine.
do too. Yeah.
Yeah, get the machine and see the miracles for yourself, and then invest in something that you love, right?
Yeah, that's what I did. Now I use the Nama. The Nama is amazing. I don't know if you've used it, but
Oh,
it's so
yeah.
good. I'll link it down below with the code if you guys want to save $55 because I'm affiliated with them because I love it. It's the best. It's life-changing. It's so easy to use. Okay, so then you use the Omega. That's what you've been using for the whole time for all of this?
Yes, I
Wow.
heard a lot about Nama from your channel, so
Yeah.
I can't wait to try that when I get a chance.
Yeah, it's easy to
Um,
use, but okay, so yeah, and
Omega, yeah.
keep
My
going. Yeah,
my
so You've
I
stuck to this for this many days with the omega. That's pretty amazing because the omega is a great juicer. I just used to get frustrated with the whole putting it together and taking it apart, that process. So good for you. And yeah, amazing. How long? So, what's the status now? Do you still have the tumor in any way, shape, or form, or did it go away completely? Or how long did it take to see results, or what is going on?
so yeah, a lot of people are curious about this. When I went to a doctor in April, I finally got a referral for ultrasound. It was kind of hard to get it. Also, there are a lot of people want it or need it, and so
Hmm.
I was waiting for some time, and finally I got it. I planned to stop my juice fast before my birthday in April, and so it just aligned the way that right before my birthday I went to get the ultrasound done, and I found out several days later that the tumor reduced 3 centimeters down, so it
Wow.
was a lot. So it's basically from the size of a mango to the size of like a lemon,
Yeah.
and it was a lot. And they called me and they told me that surgery was no longer needed
Wow.
because it keeps reducing, it keeps going down, and they just they didn't ask anything because now I start finding out that they can't by law. So they're very tied up, by what they can say and what they
Yeah.
cannot. And I understand that, but I
Oh, like
felt
they can't
amazing.
say, what are you doing? Or they, oh,
Yeah,
really?
they
Wow.
cannot ask. Yes. When I healed my rheumatoid arthritis, my doctor told me that it was a coincidence.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Well,
So,
good for you taking your own path and doing what feels right to you. You know, everybody has to do what feels right to them, even if that is surgery or taking this route or whatever feels right to you. So you feel confident you chose the right path and then it'll be completely gone, I guess, at one point.
yes, yes, and I agree with you. Everyone should do what is best for them. I don't have anything against surgeries. I've had multiple surgeries at the times I was sick. I was cut all over my body. So I really think that our journey brings us to certain points in life. And right now I'm at that point when I knew what to choose for myself that would make me feel much better.
Hmm.
And I also knew how surgery would feel and what consequences I would deal with after surgery. I was very much aware of it, and my choice was very conscious. So when I went on a juice fast, I knew it would not be, I knew it wouldn't be a short one.
Yeah.
I felt it in my heart, and I also knew that 8 centimeter mass, a tumor mass, which is sitting inside the organ, is something to work on because tumors and fibroids are the fourth stage of the disease, which is the last stage of the disease.
Wow.
And when we study the detoxification process, the tumors are basically the hardest to detoxify, but they are also very easy to remove with just fruit juice or just mono grape diet and herbal tinctures or herbal teas, things like that, because herbs, they regenerate the tissues, they regenerate the organs, and they
Hmm.
bring body back to the state of balance, to the state of homeostasis. Yeah.
So what has a day in the life looked like on this juice fast? Like what types of juices are you drinking?
So I started with a variety of juices. I used to drink 2 fruit juices and then 2 vegetable juices, basically, or
Hmm.
as I called them, salad juices. They're more savory, like I would put garlic in juice or jalapeno, things like
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hardcore. That's good.
yeah, and then slowly I started feeling that my body wanted more fruit. So, as much as I loved the flavor and taste of my salad juices, I noticed that the vibration of fruits was higher for me
Hmm.
at that moment, and I felt it speeded up the healing process as
Hmm.
well. And also, with my clients, when I work with my clients, when the cases are hard like that, when the cases are more serious, we speed up the process with monofruit juice fast.
Hmm.
That is the fastest way to go in any condition, basically. It takes away the inflammation almost immediately within three
Wow.
to 7 days. The same would happen with the vegetable and fruit juices mixed,
Hmm.
depending on the condition, but usually by the day 3, so the first 3 days are the hardest ones.
They are,
But
yeah.
a lot of mental things are coming out, right? And a lot of people get scared and a lot of emotions, and the body gets readjusted, all of those things,
Hmm.
and it puts a person into a state of hard transition, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it takes time to readjust and get used to the new life you're embarking on.
Yeah.
And by the day 7, a lot of people feel relief, increase of energy for sure. If we don't see the increase of energy by the day 7, we're doing something that is needs to be corrected, needs to be shifted, changed, that we see the progress. So yeah,
Yeah.
and then slowly my body went to fruit, and I would do like mixed fruit juices, apples, ginger, lemon, turmeric, all that goodness, grapes with apples. And then I wanted grape juice, only
Yeah.
grape juice.
Wow.
I just want grapes, more and more, give me more grapes. And so when I went on only grapes, I felt even more fantastic. I became a magnet to luck, I would say.
Wow.
Even though I always felt that I used my mind and my spirit to manifest great things in my life. I'm very thankful for everything I had, even though it wasn't easy always, moving to different country, changing my life completely, and being sick for many years, being on many medications. It was a different life. And so now when I'm here, my body is asking for different things.
Yeah.
So I went to grapes, and then organic watermelons came to Colorado, and yes, I cannot show that.
Amazing. And I feel like I just did 5 days on watermelons recently and I felt so good and so clear and like all resistance went away. And I feel like I was manifesting more. And I know you went into this for the health reasons, but were there other benefits you noticed? Like for doing such a juice fast, have you noticed a lot of benefits or like how you felt overall?
Of course, yes, I definitely, whatever we do with our body affects our mind and spirit, and vice versa. We are connected. So when we do something different like that with our body, something that is not mainstream, things change.
Hmm.
And firstly, it's mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual. All of those things start shifting, start taking different shape and form.
Hmm.
And my mental state changed completely. Of course, yoga helps a lot with that. So it was, as I said, conjunction in collaboration of juicing and yoga when the mind clears almost completely, I would say, because right now I really enjoy silence.
Hmm.
I love my morning meditations, and I enjoy just being there, just being in the present moment. And I noticed that state of mind, that state of now that Eckhart Tolle talks about,
Yeah.
the
The
being
power
of
of
now,
now. Yeah.
the power of now. Yes, I feel this. I feel it embodied.
Wow.
And it takes integration to accept this state of mind because it's hard, a lot of chatter around us. There's so much going on. And right now, when I go outside, I feel that everything is so fast. We
Yeah.
keep moving, we keep running, we keep rushing somewhere. And it feels to me people always run out of time. Also, that feels to them like this. And my perception of time changed completely on this just fast.
Yeah.
One day I woke up and I realized that it's not from outside in something is going to change. It's rather going to come from inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing that I struggled sometimes with, like, okay, I don't have enough time to do this project or that project. I realigned and I rearranged my whole schedule, not towards the external goals, but towards my heart center.
Wow.
And it felt so much empowering and so much aligned, and it worked.
Wow.
And I came out of the timing that society put on me, and it made my life much more easier. So what changed on this juice fast is the perception of life, is the simplicity
Mm-hmm.
that is right there on the surface, and we sometimes just don't see it. And I was there, I didn't see it either. You know, I
Wow.
was running, I was rushing, I was doing things that were not contributing to my well-being, to my health, to my peace. And of course, another big thing that changed on the juice fast is just the full alignment of the spirit feels comfortable in a healthy body.
Yeah.
That it's nice to be in a vessel that is clean, that is functioning properly, that carries this energy of fluidity, that all the chakras are open, that's flowing, you know, and
You
also
feel more
bringing.
connected. Yeah.
Exactly. It feels more connected to everything, to nature, to 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 plants, to things like that. I started gardening. I went back to digging in the soil, and I feel so much rewarding. I think another important thing I wanted to bring up that changed on this juice fast is my vision improved dramatically.
Wow.
I know a lot of my followers ask me about vision because I have myopia, so I cannot see far very well, and I need to wear glasses or contact. So the first thing I noticed in about day 30 of this juice fast, the colors, the brightness, and the depth perception were so much different. And then as I was going on with my juice fast, the night vision improved as well. So I was able to drive the car and just enjoy the view. And then I also started doing eye exercises.
Oh.
And it brought me even further because in the morning I don't need glasses, in the evening I don't need glasses, and I use it just for driving, you know, and it's so amazing. And I was like, even was it even possible to do this thing?
And so you don't need the glasses at all now.
I do
Yeah.
wear glasses to drive. I do wear glasses to
Oh,
look very far,
yeah.
but I noticed that it keeps improving. So I need
Wow.
it less and less, and yes, it's amazing.
Amazing. I've noticed
Mhm.
even being raw vegan, my prescription's gone down a few points and it's crazy. I noticed that. I remember, I don't know how long after being raw and I had no glasses or contacts in and I was watching the TV and I was like, wait a second, I can see everything. What is going on? Like I went to the doctor, my prescription went down and my eyesight's got a lot better. And that's interesting because whenever I've done juice fasts or mono fruit fasts, I notice my vision gets even better. So it's very interesting. And I want to ask you, so a lot of people think a juice fest is crazy expensive. Have you been able to keep it on a budget? Do you know what you've been spending roughly for anybody who might ask? And I have to ask you about weight because people always ask, has your weight changed on the juice fest as well?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, people ask me about cost a lot too. I would say when you do mixed juices like different fruits, different vegetables, so you do a variety, you do complex recipes, it
Hmm.
does get expensive. It might get anywhere from like $100 a week to $200 a week, depending, you know, it can get even more expensive.
Yeah.
If you do the something like watermelons, right now I went to a grocery store, I got two watermelons for $9. They're gigantic,
Oh.
so one watermelon would make you a gallon of juice at least. Again, depends on the size, but at least that's going to be your daily amount of juice if you do the mono juice fast.
Hmm.
And it was right $9 for a watermelon, so that's how much you would spend. The same
Hmm.
would go for grapes probably in the season, maybe a little more expensive. I would say the melons the most budget friendly, and they're one of the most cleansing fruits for lymphatic system.
Yeah.
And that is what we are targeting when we work with expression of diseases like that.
Mm-hmm.
With any basically disease, it's going to be the fastest route to get to the state of when you cleanse your lymphatic system very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you do mixed juices, it might get expensive. What I always suggest to my clients is try to hit farmers who live around you if you do have this opportunity. Sometimes you can make a great deal with them, just tell them your story, tell them you need that for your health or whatever. They sell you a bunch of fresh fruits or vegetables for lower price. You keep coming back to them, you develop relationship.
Mm-hmm.
As well, there are a lot of community services that sometimes people don't know about. At least here in the United States, in where I live, we do have food banks where sometimes clients that I work with, if they can't afford something, they can go over there and get some organic fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Find about the community gardens and also befriend your grocery store,
Yeah.
managers.
So true.
They,
And they're great. Yeah, you can ask them to bring things in and for case discounts, and they're great. Well, you've
yeah.
done amazing. And have there been any negatives? I know, like, of all the juice fasts I've done so many juice fast interviews, and I'll try link a playlist below of them all. But there's very rare somebody, even usually I'll ask for negatives and they'll sit and think for like a few minutes. There was only one girl that said she passed out on day 60. Otherwise, I haven't heard anything negative, and she kept going. I probably would have stopped them, but did
Yeah.
anything bad happen or any negatives along the way?
Well, not really. I wouldn't say not. Definitely, I didn't pass out. I have a lot of energy, like
Yeah.
never before. When things like this happen with people, a lot of times we're not aware that our organs might not work properly. When people pass out on a juice fast or
Hmm.
any kind of serious health condition comes up, we need to work on restoring the organs and glands, our
Hmm.
glandular system, our endocrine system. This is very important. It's like stage two of the healing process. First is detoxification, then is rebuilding, regeneration of our body so it
Hmm.
can function again. So I wouldn't say on my first long-term juice fast, I think the negative, or I cannot even call it this way because it was a learning process.
Hmm.
It was those were beautiful lessons. As I said, I started feeling this loneliness,
Hmm.
or as if I was losing my friends. I felt that, after leaving my marriage, that people that I attracted were still kind of vibrating on the same level of the traumatic level that I was
Yeah.
going through. And so that put me like back um, to negative thinking, I would say a little bit. So that was the negative at that time.
Hmm.
This time, I would say everything is really beautiful. Of course, I do go through emotional experiences, emotional cleanses on this juice fast. It's sometimes it's rough. We also carry generational things with us. We are not just separated beings. We are connected to everyone. And
True.
so things come up that I wasn't aware of, that I carried from generations ago and I need to work them out. So those are things that people might call on the negative side. For me personally, those things are, as I said, beautiful learning experiences, understanding who I am as a soul who came to this planet,
Hmm.
understanding why I'm here, and understanding my shadow sides as well,
Hmm.
and learning how to work with them and how to love them too. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Well, this has been so amazing hearing your story. I think you're incredible and you're glowing, and there's just like happiness radiating out of you. I can tell you're just feeling like extra high vibe, and you're on the right path, and it's a beautiful path. And it's just amazing you've shared this with us. And if there's anything else you feel like you want to end off with, or any advice for somebody that might be going through a hard time or a toxic relationship themselves, or anything you feel like we missed that you'd like to share, anything people ask you about, then absolutely, I'd love for you to share that.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come here. I
Yeah.
would like to share that a lot of people, they ask how to heal, and I call my followers beautiful self-healers because I believe strongly that each and every one of us have this immense capacity of self-healing, and it guides us, that the guidance is there, and people like you who bring together back, all this goodness and light of all those self-healers on your channel, and all those self-healers on my small channel. So yeah, just be there, guys, for yourself. Love yourself, no matter what you're going through, if it's a rough time, if it's a dark time, you're there for yourself, and one day you will find your path, you will find your way. Just be there for you and love yourself. That's the most important thing. I think the healing starts with love, this beautiful, universal, all-encompassing love that is embracing us as the children of this planet and truly bringing us together.
So
And
true.
it's hard sometimes to love ourselves when we think, oh, we did something, or
Mhm.
I went to eat this cooked food again, right? Or I don't know, I gained a lot of weight. Oh, we forgot to talk about weight.
Oh yeah, your weight loss. Yeah.
Yes, I'll talk about it in a second. And just yes, just realize you're the light, and the light is guiding you, and the darkness is just a part of the journey. And you're strong enough. If you want to embark on a juice fast, you're strong enough, and the plants, the fruits and vegetables themselves, they're our allies, and they're going to support us in
Hmm.
this journey, spiritual, physical, and mental and energetic.
Yeah.
And the weight loss, I was 136 pounds when I started my juice fast on August 26, 2022, and I am 115 pounds as of today, May 22, 2023.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
not bad. And you look great. I think
yeah,
some people think you'll waste away to nothing, but I mean, I feel like that seems healthy. It's not, you
yeah,
didn't lose like a crazy amount. I feel like maybe you just lost what felt right for that time. Wow. Well, thank
yeah.
you.
I lost exactly the same amount as I lost on my previous long-term juice fast, which was
Wow.
all the waste from my colon, basically, which
Yeah.
is crazy, right?
Crazy. I'm gonna
And
do a juice fast in the fall. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, and now I have muscles. I didn't lose any muscles. I practice a lot of yoga every day, and I do fitness. I do bicycle, I run. I'm very, very active.
Yeah.
So I also climb. And I run after my son. So there
Yeah.
is
Which that's
no
a lot. Yeah.
yes. Okay, yeah,
I have two
that's
kids. Yeah. Well, that's
oh,
amazing. Thanks for sharing. I think you're such a beautiful person. And I love speaking to people when they're on a juice fast this far in because I know you're just so connected and in tune and just have so much brilliance to say. And you've blown us away. It's amazing. And thank you for sharing. And I wish you nothing but the best with your health and happiness, prosperity, your life, relationships, everything. And I'll link everything down below in case anybody wants to work with you or follow your website and all that as well. Everything will be down below. Go follow Anastasia under Luminous Raw. And I love you guys, the viewers. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you don't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.